Yeah. But I don't really want them to know what I'm saying.
Don't say anything.
Yeah. So I did something today on Facebook I shouldn't have done. But I haven't.
Are we rolling tape on this?
I haven't done an April Fool's joke in 25 years. I'm like you. I don't believe in them. But I put my birthday as April 1st.
I fell for that, by the way. I was going to wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you. I had like 55 happy birthdays, and I feel so bad because I duped all these people.
So now when your real birthday comes, you're getting nothing.
Well, they've already wished me happy birthday. It was January 25th.
You're out of luck.
I know. I've got
nothing.
Blew my whole birthday thing. But
hey, can I say something that makes sense?
Steven Stoli. Yes.
What? And yeah, I'd like to say something that makes sense for just a second. And that is that if you take it past the Facebook issue, Jack, I guess I'm getting down to the very core of what happened here. And that is that I just don't think that it's a good idea to say hurtful things about other people unless it's in a constructive way. And so for a teacher to vent about individuals under her tutelage and to vent indirectly in a critical way, I just don't think does a service for those kids. It's just like Nico said, if you want to sit them down individually and say, look, here's your problems, and here's why I don't like you, and here's what you're doing wrong, and here's what you can do better. Well, that's what teachers are supposed to do. But to address them in kind of a cyberspace in reference to a group and to say something hurtful, I don't think does anything good for anybody.
My favorite response when we were talking about this on the show this week was from a woman who wrote to me and said, because the way this came to light was kids from the school saw it, they went to their parents, the parents went to the school district. One woman wrote to me and said, if my kid brought this to my attention, my first question for her would be, you better not be one of the kids that's making her feel this way. But I liked that.
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about what Steve said, and I haven't really thought about this in too much detail, but I mean, my coaches were rough on us when we were younger. I mean, the standard that the teachers had back when I was growing, I mean, back then, and for Jimmy and Steve, much earlier than me.
I mean, maybe that wasn't right, but I don't think this overly politically correct thing is right either. They're not snowflakes.
I read something the other day that I don't know, who was it? Bill Gates was giving some speech for graduation, and he just kind of said it the way it was, that we're kind of preparing our children for failure, that we try to protect them too much. Yeah. We don't prepare them for the I hate to say this, the ugliness of the world, and you have to be ready for that because there's disappointments in life, there's setbacks, there is a loser and a winner. There's not like, oh, sorry, you're just not the winner. No, there's a loser, unfortunately, because that's what society says. And are we preparing our young folks for failure because they're not ready to handle these emotional stresses? I don't know. I mean, I think that's something to be thought about, and this kind of fits into that.
So this teacher might have been providing a valuable service.
Jimmy seems like he was. Jimmy seems like he was tortured when he was.
No, I'm getting some new insight into Jimmy.
I don't know.
No, it was a difficult life, and I'll talk to you about it sometime when we're off the air.
That's why he's a defense lawyer. He had to defend himself all the time.
Yeah. He's a defensive lawyer. 10:57. We have more Gang of Four coming up on KTSA. Gang of Four today.
Wow, very interesting. I'm impressed. I'm excited.
She says that every week.
No, I just ignore you and I pretend not to hear what you're saying.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Well, that's why I think you say that every week. So the Cobra's been captured.
I heard.
The streets of New York are once again, well, I was going to say safe. But, you know, he was tweeting while he was on the run.
I heard.
And the Twitter profile listed the snake as an Egyptian cobra just out on the town. Tweeted about various tourist attractions it was taking in. It took the Sex and the City tour, commenting on current events. A lot of people are asking how I can tweet with no access to a computer or fingers. Ever heard of an iPhone? Duh, says another tweet. By the way, will there be consequences for the snake, do you think? Or will they just put him back in the snake?
I'm not spanking a snake. Come on.
I didn't mean that. I just meant, you know, shouldn't there be like some kind of punishment? I mean, don't you want to deter other snakes from doing this? You know? I don't know, but there should be, it's like there's no consequences. The snake's had a good time, has a Twitter account, gets to go back in the cage.
We're even going to be hosting Saturday Night
Hosting
Live.
Saturday Night. Oh, did you hear about this? They're going to give Betty White her own show.
I know.
Betty White is getting her own
Sort
show.
of like a candid camera.
Yeah, they're going to have her go around pranking on old people. Well, or what she would call, younger people, I guess.
Jack Riccardi, 9 till 1, 550 KTSA.
11:10 on KTSA. Gang of Four is here. We have a couple of high caliber attorneys, and then we also have Jimmy Parks and Nico. And we have Steven Stoli, who's going to get in an RV and start heading across the country.
I'm going to do a little internet radio show for my RV.
And you're doing it? That's right. Tell people about that. I haven't heard that before. What you're going to do?
Well, actually, I'm going to go to smaller towns who don't get to advertise about things that are going on in their town. Spend a couple of days there, do some interviews, and put that out on the internet for people to. And I've got already some cities lined up.
So you're like Charles Kuralt of the 21st century.
Kind of like that, yeah, but the internet thing.
Let's remember what we found out about him, though. You're gonna do what we found out about him. Remember what they found out about him?
I don't remember.
Charles Kuralt?
Yeah, I remember Charles Kuralt.
Remember it came out after he died?
Yeah.
Am I the only one that remembers
Does
this?
he have a secret life? Like,
He had this kinky secret life. He had all these women all over the country.
Well,
And that's why he was on the.
I'm hoping that'll be part
That's
of
why
it.
he was on the road. Yeah, okay, there you go. All right, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting somewhere.
I may need
All
a defense
right.
lawyer after this.
Yeah.
A man with a purpose.
Try this for a new line. Would you like to see my RV? Oh, boy, that's a winner.
Is that what you call it?
All right, look. What's an RV? Oh, I'll show you. Gambling in Texas, proposals before the legislature. We were talking earlier about how we're in this deep fiscal hole, and they're pointing out that all the states around us have casino gambling. Texans love to gamble. That's why we keep reelecting Rick Perry. And so we're taking our gambling money, we're spending it in Louisiana and Arkansas and here and there. That we ought to have it here, and it would create jobs and bring money in. What do we think? How do we feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. I really, I believe its time is due because the Texans do leave to go to Vegas, Louisiana, Mississippi.
So we're just leaving the money in other states.
Yeah, we're leaving the money in other states. We might as well spend it here. If they're going to take if they're going to put in that much effort to reach a casino, then certainly it'd be better for them to be gambling here. And it does bring in a seedy lot. It does bring in some dangerous characters, but still just cracks them up.
There you go. What about it, Nico?
I tend to be for it. I think it's a good. Now the counter argument is okay. When you have gambling, you have 24-hour drinking. What do we do with the limits on that? Alcohol. I don't know so much about the seedy characters anymore, to be honest with you. I mean, you go to Vegas now, and it's all families. I mean, Jimmy's thinking about Bugsy Siegel in the old Vegas days. I mean, he's dating himself. But I mean,
Didn't you defend Bugsy?
yeah, I think he did. But I don't agree with the seedy element argument. But I will listen. And I think it's a relevant argument about the alcohol issue because we obviously have some issues with alcohol and DWIs and things of that nature. So, but I think we have models. We have El Paso, we have Eagle Pass, and we have other models in the state and around in other states. I don't know if there's numbers or stats. I haven't seen them, but I think that it's something to be cognizant of. But I think I support it overall because I think it would benefit the state.
I support it on a limited basis.
How limited?
Well, if you go across the Oklahoma border, you eventually come to this big place that's their casino. You don't go to a gas station in Oklahoma City and there's a slot machine. Okay? I really don't want to see slots down the river. I don't want to hear that kind of stuff
Why?
going on.
What is it about the Riverwalk?
I don't know. It's because it's a nice place. I mean, I can hear slots. In fact, they're fake slots now. It's all recorded because they don't even really have slot machines anymore. Everything's electronic. But I think that they could have it. They have it at the racetracks. Let them have it where people go to gamble. Let them have a big casino somewhere out on I-35 or something like that. But to have it like Vegas, I don't think that would be good. I don't think I should. I don't want to go to the post office and play the slot machine. But people go to Vegas for entertainment. There's some gambling too. But I mean, it's more like let me see Celine Dion or.
Well, you might have that here also, right?
Yeah.
And that element would be, which I think is a good thing. So I agree with the job thing. I do agree with Steve. I don't want to see slot machines. You sound like you're anti-Riverwalk. I don't know if I picked that up on you or not.
No, people talk about it like it's sacred ground. It's not the Vatican City.
No, but you know what? We're used to it. See, I used to think the same thing. And then one time when we had some function here, and I was down at the Riverwalk, and I really kind of opened my eyes. I think I took my daughter and my in-laws when they came in town, and I kind of looked at it as a tourist. I took off the veil of living here all my life. And it's kind of a neat place. I mean, the Riverwalk is it's very unique to
It is
the
neat.
country.
There's a mall there,
On one side of it, but it's just a different atmosphere.
Okay, you
I think
gamble
it's
in the
neat.
mall. That's okay.
I don't know. I'm not a big gambler. I could care less. I get bored very quickly with that stuff. It's actually, to me, more interesting to watch people gamble than it is to gamble. But look, if this is what people want to do, and they're already doing it, and they're going to other states and doing it, let them build these casinos and knock yourself out. You know, now don't make me responsible. Don't set up some fund to educate people about gambling addiction, and then I got to take care of people that I don't want any of that. But if this is what people choose to do with their free time or in their retirement, and they want to see a show, and we get some of those shows. I've been to Vegas. It doesn't seem like a nightmarish place to me.
You can require the casinos to spend X amount of dollars educating the public. Don't not my taxpayer money. I mean,
Well, and they're saying that, you know, for the price of a casino license, you'd be dealing with some pretty heavy, you know, hitters as far as investors. So it's not like they're going to put up a corrugated tin shack
No,
with,
I agree.
you know, with slot machines in it.
They should let the Texans vote on it. They should let them vote on it and just see what
Let them
happens.
vote on it. I agree. We wouldn't have to be
Nothing
going
else.
into a rainy day.
Everybody seems to think, by the way, that if there was a vote, it would pass overwhelmingly. Do you agree with that? I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know. You know, we've
There's going to be a strong, you know, kind of
that
social
Dallas-
conservative
that Dallas
argument
Fort Worth
against
area
this.
is just so conservative. It's hard to tell. You know, there's pockets of East Texas and the Panhandle that's so conservative. You know, it's just I don't know that it actually would, but I think that it would.
But you know, we do have more people from out of state here now than we
Yeah.
did before, so they may bring in a different slant on it.
And a good point that Nico made was, and a point he made, correcting me and putting me down,
No.
was when he starts talking about
All of our
casinos.
points have done that.
when he shames me by talking about how nice the casinos are right now, and I'm thinking, yeah, he's right about that. They really are. I just got back from Vegas. They are family oriented, and so it's going to be harder for the opponents of casino gambling to try to convince your undecideds that these casinos are evil or next to Satan and will cause problems
Right.
within the community.
Right. I mean, we have gentlemen's clubs. You know, I mean, isn't
Where?
that I thought that was the scourge of our city, right?
That's a good point. I mean, I don't see how that's less damaging.
Seems like you'd be more
Casino.
opposed to that than a casino. But all right, we talked this week about this week was the 30th anniversary of the attempted assassination of President Reagan. It was 30 years ago that John Hinckley, in just a few seconds' time, squeezed off 6 shots and not only wounded the president, but grievously wounded his press secretary, Jim Brady, a Secret Service agent who had to retire, took a bullet for the president, as did a D.C. Police officer. Patty Davis, President Reagan's daughter, wrote a very powerful piece or essay for Time magazine. It's one of the best things I've ever read, just as far as the quality of the writing. And her point is that Hinckley, and a lot of people don't know this, never went to prison for a day. He's been in a mental health facility from which he now gets lengthy furloughs, overnight visits with his family. He has a license to drive, he has a cell phone, he has a job, he's had numerous girlfriends, he strolls the grounds of St. Elizabeth's, feeding stray cats, sitting under trees, playing his guitar, reading books. In the meantime, Jim Brady wakes up screaming every night. His wife has to take care of him night and day. These other 2 men in the prime of their careers were cut down and physically ruined. If he's so much better now, if he's so cured, then he ought to go right from St. Elizabeth's into prison. He's never paid for this. And not just shooting the president, but ruining these other lives. I mean, what about that?
Well, has the law changed since this happened? Has anybody, I mean, this
Yeah.
law of insanity, can
Yeah, it has
somebody do
changed.
that today and get away with the same thing he's getting away with?
Let's hear from the lawyers. I mean, look,
Yeah.
this just doesn't seem right. In what other country would you try to kill the head of state, and your life would get better after that?
Well, there's a multitude of problems, Jack, and a confluence of factors that come into play here. But the first thing, just to break it down to simple issues, which is very difficult, is he was found not guilty. Now, not guilty by reason of insanity, but that's a jury verdict that we just have to live with, in a system maybe that was run awry back at that time.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens once you get into these mental health facilities, and you know, I hate to say this because I've got so many friends who are psychiatrists who I think are the consummate professionals. But for the most part, when you get these people institutionalized, psychiatrists are proud of their work. And they want to believe that they're curing people.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, you're going to see a record of reports that will show how much better an individual is getting under their care.